What on earth? Oh my God! The ring just imploded!
Once you know how the sausage is made, it's hard to unsee it. The nonverbal cues pro wrestlers give each other to communicate during matches are often well hidden, but they're hard to miss once you know what to look for. Part of a wrestler's job is to be good at making you think that they're legitimately injured in a way that's designed to play on your emotions. By that same token, you also want easy ways of communicating that something has genuinely gone wrong. That's where the X sign used by referees comes in. Popularized in WWE, it involves a referee crossing their arms above their head, signifying a legitimate injury. It's an easy shorthand that can also be used by wrestlers if need be. Former WWE producer Arn Anderson explained that the X signifies an immediate need for a doctor.
Match shuts down, match is over. That's it.
Though WWE has used the X for storyline injuries in the past, this practice has fallen out of favor. Former WWE referee Jake Clemens told Wrestling Inc. that he was never taught any variations of the X or told how to use it outside of legitimate injury situations. Pro wrestling referees have a slew of different roles they have to fill, many of which are obvious. Ensuring the safety of the wrestlers is their most important job, though, to the point that the referees increasingly get formal first aid training. And just like they need a standardized way to quickly notify everyone who could see them that there's a legitimate injury, they also need a standardized way to check on the wrestlers. There is one, and it's pretty simple. WrestleMania explains that you just put your hand in the hand of the wrestler who took the bump to make sure they squeeze it. And this isn't just for referees. The wrestler giving the move often does this to make sure that the wrestler taking the move is okay too. Former WWE referee Jake Clemens explained, "The hand squeeze, from what I understood, was a way to protect the business from nearby fans to check on the performer. I myself use it from time to time, but now I find myself just speaking to talent more often, because I feel as if the fans know about the hand squeeze now."
Turning the tables on Rude. Power slam!
One of Randy Orton's signature moves has long been his snap power slam. Orton does it in such a particular way, with so much speed and explosion, that it's somewhat common for him to overcommit to the power slam. His opponent stops short of walking into it, sending the Viper spinning and crashing into the mat. As it turns out, there appears to be a very easy to decode signal where Orton makes it clear to his opponent if they're doing an actual power slam or the missed power slam counterspot. Tap Out Corner points out that Orton always claps his hands when he's about to actually hit the power slam. If he doesn't, that's how you know that his opponent is going to stop short and cause Orton to crash and burn onto the ring canvas. Popularized in the mid-1980s by Jake the Snake Roberts, the DDT starts as a front face lock, but then the opponent is driven straight down to the mat from that position. With Jake's ability to hit it out of nowhere, the DDT got so over that it helped turn him babyface, both in Mid-South Wrestling and the WWF. While Jake didn't invent the DDT, he did add a flourish that made it shine. As he explained on the Steve Austin show, Jake thought at length about how to do the move just right.
I started playing around, imagining it. You start out in the hotel room, hold it, and you look in the mirror and hold it and trying to figure out which way to get your legs.
Whenever Jake hit the DDT, he always slapped his opponent's back as he was executing the move. Tap Out Corner spotted a pattern in the slaps, whether by Jake or wrestlers who used the DDT later. When the wrestler executing the DDT slaps the back of their opponent, the opponent actually takes the DDT. When there's no slap, it's countered.
Second degeneration! Oh my God!
At 2006's WrestleMania 22 in Chicago, Shawn Michaels managed to lead Vince McMahon to a memorable WrestleMania match. The climax of the match, which Michaels won of course, was Michaels coming off the top of a very tall ladder with an elbow drop, putting McMahon through a table. The Wrestling Observer editor Dave Meltzer wrote of the spot, "While that sounded and looked impressive, to the wrestlers it was even more so because McMahon had a garbage can around his head. That meant he actually couldn't see Michaels falling and tense himself to take the blow, which is a big deal." As it turned out, McMahon did get a warning to be ready for the impact though. Meltzer wrote a month later, "In actuality, the ref shook Vince's leg right as Michaels was about to land, so he was given a signal." Of course, a master manipulator like Mr. McMahon was happy to let others think he was taking the hit blind. Meltzer wrote that the then WWE chairman was getting over how gutsy he was with the boys in the locker room. If you've watched your fair share of WWF wrestling from the 1980s, then you surely remember one of the constants of Gorilla Monsoon's commentary, admonishing wrestlers for not hooking a leg on pin attempts. On the surface, it made sense, Hooking and elevating the legs to get weight up over the shoulders is a legitimate strategic principle from amateur wrestling. The wrestlers of the WWF at the time didn't see it that way though, because one of the tenets of that era's wrestling style was to never hook the leg on near falls, only at the finish of the match. In a post on the WrestlingClassics.com message board, Wrestling Observer editor Dave Meltzer explained, "You do a near fall and don't hook the leg, and he calls you an idiot for not hooking the leg and teaches the fans not to pop for your near fall, when the style you are told to do is only hook the leg for the real finish." The wording was that he is trying to show how smart he is by never selling your near falls, thus hurting your match. As Meltzer explained it, he regularly spoke to irate wrestlers who didn't like that Monsoon was calling out what was standard practice. And it wasn't just with pins either. Monsoon would routinely put over all the baby faces as tough guys who would never submit. But since the house style dictated that baby faces would never give up in a submission hold, he looked like a genius and it undermined the heels.